Well, good morning and welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. Hope you've got a cup of coffee going on this rainy morning. We're in Mark chapter 3, and we're going to do verses 13 through 19 today. These are the verses where Jesus selects his apostles, the 12 apostles, the 12 disciples. And Mark says that Jesus went up on a mountainside. Luke includes the part that Jesus prayed all night before his decision. He had a lot of followers and would have a lot of followers, but he wanted to select 12 people that he was going to invest more time in. And it says he went up on a mountainside and called to him those he wanted, and they came to him. He appointed 12, designated them apostles, sent ones, is exactly what that means. Disciple means learner. He said that they might be with him and that he might send them out to preach and to have authority to drive out demons. So he wants these 12 to be with him wherever he goes. He wants to train them. He wants to send them out to preach, and he wants to send them to cast out demons. And here's the 12 he chose. And they're a diverse group. There's Simon, to whom he gave the name Peter. And we know about Peter. Peter could be hot-tempered. He could curse. He wore a sword. He wasn't afraid to pull that sword. We know he cut off Malchus's ear, the high priest's ear, when they tried to arrest Jesus. Kind of a hothead there. Yet he grows to become one of the leaders in the church, if not the main leader. Then there's James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, whom he gave the name Boanerges, or which means sons of thunder. James and John become very significant. They're part of the inner circle as well. Peter, James, and John are the three that Jesus really invested in. James was martyred pretty early after the church started. James that is so significant in Acts and wrote the letter is James, the half-brother of Jesus. He's significant. John is as well. John becomes the beloved and is known as the beloved disciple. You have Andrew, Peter's brother, and Andrew is famous for bringing his brother to Jesus. You have Philip and Bartholomew. Now, Bartholomew is also known as Nathaniel. These two guys must have known each other, and they must have been studying about Messiah coming. Because when Philip heard Jesus and saw Jesus, he went to Bartholomew or Nathaniel, and he says, the person we've been looking for is here. And so these guys must have been pretty good students of the Bible, looking at what was going to be around about Messiah, knew Messiah needed to be coming. One other thing about Philip may be in somewhat of a bean counter. You remember when Jesus fed the multitudes, and but it was getting late, and the disciples were trying to tell Jesus, they send them into the towns. We're out in the countryside. There's nothing for them to eat. And Jesus said, you feed them. Philip's the one that looked at him and said, well, it'd take over a year's salary to feed all this group. So he was kind of maybe more their accountant. There's Matthew or Levi, as he's been called, would be the tax collector that Jesus called. He's also one who wrote one of the Gospels. We have Thomas, doubting Thomas. Oh my, Thomas was always doubting. In John 14, when Jesus said, don't let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I'd tell you so, and I'm going to go and prepare a place, and you know the place. Thomas once said, we have no idea how to get there. And Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That great statement out of Thomas's doubt. Thomas is also the one that, he had several occasions. One time when they were going back to to raise Lazarus, you know, Thomas said, well, let's go. We might as well go get arrested with him. Thomas is also the one that obviously was saying, I won't believe that Jesus raised from the dead till I'm able to put my fingers in his nail-scarred hands and all. And then Jesus appeared and called Thomas over to do that. Then there's James, son of Alphaeus. We don't know hardly anything about this James. But he was there. And it's folks like that that, to me, make things great. There's a lot of people that don't get a lot of accolades or anything, but they're there. And Thaddeus is not well known. The only thing we know about Thaddeus, he's got about 3 names. Then we got Simon the Zealot. He was a member of a political party, and that political party was sworn to try and overthrow the government of Rome. And so he had somebody that was very political there, kind of in some ways, Rome would have considered them a terrorist organization. And then you have Judas Iscariot, who's going to betray Jesus. He's also the treasurer who steals. He's all kind. It's really kind of a very difficult thing. Iscariot, one of the possible meanings of it is a dagger man, somebody who carries a dagger and all. I don't know. I've just read some about that. Some think it may be just more interpreted a place where he comes from. Others say, no, it means, he could have been an assassin of some type. I don't know. And but I do know he betrayed Jesus. And that's the 12. I think it's good for us to invest in people in our lives, to invest in some people to help them become better Christians. And it's only through Christians investing in other Christians how we are able to grow. So I hope you'll invest yourself in 3, like Jesus did with Peter, James, and John, or maybe with 12. But invest yourself in some people. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope those of you who live around here are able to come to church Sunday. Our attendance is beginning to pick back up. People have gotten vaccinated and they're coming back. And again, I'll just tell you, we've had nobody trace their getting COVID back to our worship service or our Sunday school. Now, we've had some other activities, and around the office we've gotten it, but nobody to worship service or Sunday school. So I hope you'll consider coming back. We need each other, just like Jesus needed some disciples who became very influential, not only while he was here, but especially when he left. They're the ones that carried the gospel to the whole world. I wouldn't be talking to you today if it hadn't been for the disciples who carried on the tradition after Jesus was crucified, buried, and raised from the dead and ascended back. And it's important for us to do it as well. And he does that through church. And I hope you'll be there Sunday. Well, have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later.